Seems like the Bitcoin bulls might be actually back here. But there's so much stuff going on. We've got political pressure, we've got macro stupidness, we've got leverage, narratives around privacy coins. And yet we have finally, even though this was happening beforehand, had a bit of a price move. So today I'm going to go through what actually matters here in terms of the political bollocks, the leverage side of it, the technical analysis. So yeah, stick around. You'll probably learn something here. Now, I'm not trying to be doom and gloom or fearmonger here, but the markets are reacting quite, I think, emotionally to certain things. You've got to look at the fact of obviously the CPI data that came out the other day. We've got rate expectations. We've got election, all kinds of bullshit bollocks and global uncertainty around Iran, around, Greenland. We've got obviously situations around tariffs. We've got, oh my God, that's the thing. It's a bit mental. And what we're seeing, and you may not know this, but obviously silver and gold flying. Oil has been pretty volatile. Bitcoin has finally done something, which is kind of what we're here for. But the retail narrative around cryptocurrency is privacy coins at the minute, which is a bit mental. But realistically, when we're looking at the Trade and Economics website, we've got economic growth in the UK, which is quite important here. We've obviously got what's been happening elsewhere. But this as well, oil was doing fantastic. And then we had a signal from Donald Trump that we may be delaying any sort of military action against obviously Iran. So it is like a bit of a mess. It's a bit of a storm in a teacup at the minute, and it's a bit of a problem. That has been creating issues around why hasn't, say, Bitcoin done better than what we should expect? Are we really in that 4-year cycle? So yeah, it gets pretty mental when you start looking at the geo side of it. And yeah, oil is down 4% on the day. But let's talk about something that I do not like in this market, which you probably all know. The artificial pumping, basically, of volume, creating fake manipulative elements. So this here, Starknet has 8 daily users, 10 daily transactions, and somehow has 1 billion market cap and 15 billion full dilution. And yeah, this is kind of a situation where we know this, right? This, if you're in crypto, you should know it is a little bit sketchy, the altcoin market. We know this. We've all followed it and we've all seen it. This is a situation what we have with every single altcoin. How real is their product? How real is it? And this is what's created another narrative, which is great problems for us to try and make some money off actually investing in certain assets. Whether it is Bitcoin or something else, you want to believe in something. You want to have an idea that you are buying something that you like. And these, well, let's be honest, not organic demand here is a very, very big issue. Certainly when it matters because you need capital rotation. We talk a lot about risk on, risk off. We talk a lot about altcoins waking up, liquidity, QE, quantitative tightening. What does it matter for the world of crypto? If this is happening, this is why, in a nutshell, people do not trust cryptocurrency altcoins. This is why all of this makes no sense when it's diluted. You imagine it, right? You're a top quality asset. You need to pay your team. What do you do? Well, you create an inflation model. Why? Because it allows you to make money. Money printer, right? It's just in another word. So it is something that we need to be very, very, I think, careful of. So yeah, try not to get caught up in the core takeaway here of, oh my God, look at the volumes pumping. Woohoo. People look at on-chain data and get really, really excited when realistically it could be absolutely bollocks. But let's talk about the obvious in the room here. Bitcoin has wiped out 600 million in bets, basically short squeezes, triggering a mechanical loop. I'll get words out. And that forces the price to move forward. Now, we could look at 100K, and it is in the thumbnail, obviously. But the reality is here, we still need to go a lot higher. We do need to get that market move. We do need to get that pull, that conviction that we are going the right way. And stick around, I will do the technical analysis in a minute. But this is the thing. Cryptocurrency has this thing where it feels horrible, then boom, bang. And then it's the same the other way around. Feels amazing, bang. Up the stairs, out the window vibe, right? And this is the other way around. So yeah, you got ETF flushes and leverage and all that kind of stuff. And that makes sense, but over leverage is still a problem here in the world of crypto. It always has been, always will be, and it's getting even worse. I think it is, anyways. And I just can't get my head around why people are over leveraging. Liquidations are creating that buying and selling loop. It's very, very simple. It happens all the time. We know it. I talk about it quite a lot. And this price movement is not because, of hype or news. It's just the fact that we had a little bit of news and it just caught people out. And then it creates that big cascading effect. That happens, unfortunately. So yeah, there is some news that has been quite positive, but it hasn't been positive enough in my viewpoint. I think we should have had more of a move earlier, but we haven't, have we? So yeah, this for me isn't quite euphoria yet. So just keep your arms in the car, so to speak. Because this is the technical side of Bitcoin. I know my chart's a bit messy. I do apologize, but feel free to follow along for more of these videos and like the video if you like my analysis, because I want to tell you a little story about the world of the EMA 21. We are finally, and it's taken a long time. I mean, a long time. If you want to know strategies and stuff like that, I am building a load of guides on my Patreon, understanding risk on, risk off. It's the next one, but I have talked a lot about how technical analysis can be looked at in a very simplistic way that will make you more profitable. The reality is here, that red box of doom is the key area. We need to get through this, change character, and then start hopefully retracing. Do I think that's going to happen? Probably not, no. Bulls, I don't think are in control yet. They're trying to get in control, whether it happens or not. But the reality is here, and it's quite blunt, we need to get above this EMA 21 on the weekly time frame. We are still not bullish on the RSI, that's fine. And we still have a situation where stablecoin dominance is still quite high. It needs to go lower. And yeah, you can look at the monthly time frame and go, well, it looks all right. It does. It looks great. But it's still very early. We could go to 108, 103,000, whatever, and go towards these levels here and still fail and just create an obvious lower high and then go into these lows. That could be a problem. And that is where my overall biggest concern. Yes, we are printing a potential hidden bull on the monthly time frame here, which is fine, bullish, hidden bullish divergence, but it's still too early. It's still far too early. I think people are getting far too excited about it. And I get it. Yeah, you want to get some excitement, but realistically, as I say, the likes of the stable currency dominance is still quite high. This needs to really nuke itself and get money rotation into the market from, say, stable currencies. And we'll talk about Ethereum in a minute. But the lack of appetite, when we talk about other markets, and this is the thing that kind of, I know it confuses people, but when we look at how mental gold has been, and I can't even keep up with the analysis on this, it's going that crazy. Why hasn't Bitcoin done anything similar? And that is where my big red flag is for Bitcoin, especially at the minute. And it kind of, in a way, cements kind of the 4-year cycle. In terms of when I took profit, I was thinking about October time anyways, that the market was going to kind of turn over, because that was where the days were in a rough kind of speak. I was expecting us to go higher. I was kind of a little bit dismissive of the fact that, well, we should have really gone to 150, and I should have really talked about that more. But the reality is here, why haven't we done a move like this? Why is now silver at 91k? What has made that happen? Well, you got to look at the geopolitical side of it and why certain things are happening, supply and demand, all that kind of good stuff. Hype, narrative. Why hasn't Bitcoin moved? That's my, yeah, you see what I mean. In terms of Ethereum, this is the Ethereum.D, so the dominance of Ethereum. It's kind of holding, but it's not doing, I don't think, anything amazing right now. Even, obviously, you'll see the same sort of chart here. The Ethereum BTC chart, nothing really happening. It's holding, but nothing that's making me get quite turned on by it. Let's be honest here. This is the one that really needs to, if altcoins need to move, this is the one that needs to go with it. And I know there's a bit of a mess on my chart right now, but the realistic element is we have done a very, very nice correction into the 618 level. That's fine. Where do we go next from here? That's the thing. We need to really start to move now. This is a really good candle on the weekly time frame, by the way, just saying. On the daily, it looks a bit more interesting, but we need to carry on. We need to get through this area and go. When we get a change of character, which is not that far away, realistically, if we get things right, we could be looking at some nice moves for altcoins. And that doesn't mean we're going to go mental, but there's some really interesting things about altcoins we need to talk about. By the way, if you want to trade some altcoins, there's a link below to Blowfin. You get 20% back on fees. There's no KYC. It's available for the UK. So if you're in the UK and you can't trade futures and you want to, go for it. Doesn't mean go crazy with leverage, by the way. I'm just saying there's a way to trade futures so you're not getting blown up by spot all the time. So let's talk about market participation in select altcoins. Now, Dash, Monero, I think Decred are flying right now. They are reacting with Bitcoin. It just shows there's still elements of low liquidity and a big massive pump here. But if I go to the last 7 days, you can see very, very clearly what's been going on. The volume in these has gone up quite a bit. This is mad, right? Look at the volume in Monero. It's a privacy coin. I personally don't like privacy coins that much, but it is now a $13 billion asset in terms of market cap. Obviously, Dash is a lot smaller now than what it was back in the day. If you're an OG, you'll know all about Dash. That's the thing. Altcoins don't really lead markets, but they do respond to conditions. Privacy coins are the flavor right now. Makes you wonder, right? Now, As I've alluded to it, I don't really like privacy coins, whether you like that or not. About me, I've never really been a fan. The reason being, right, is because the world of KYC and the world of like the banks know everything these days. To get into the market, you probably know everything anyways, realistically. So even if you are in Monero, but my question would be, what if Monero does like these 90% corrections again? Well, it does. That's a problem, and that's where we've been before in previous cycles. But when we look at that, it's showcasing a proper bull market, isn't it? It's crazy when you think about it. So yeah, fair play if you're holding Monero. It's been a hard slog if you've been holding it. It's one of the OG privacy coins out there, but it has had a lot of issues. Obviously, when we talk about where is it listed, it's been removed from pretty much most places these days compared to what it was in the past. So yeah, it has been a hard slog. And also we can look at Dash. As I said, the OGs will know all about Dash. It is mental when you think about it. Look at the state of that. How high did it go back in the day? It was worth so much money. I miss those days. Oh, if you've been around for a while in crypto, you'll know what I'm talking about, the world of Dash and the masternodes and how much money we made. Just saying. But yeah, it is pretty crazy. So yeah, Dash is flying. It is crazy right now. But to kind of bring this a little bit together, Bitcoin needs strength. It needs to get that risk on situation started. We want to kind of mimic and go with the likes of gold. We want the dominance to drop. We want certain situations to happen where we've had this correction of like, God knows, freaking hell, since October down to like what now, give or take. We need to start getting a bounce and a trigger and a reaction, and hopefully we do, and we get a bit of daylight, which will be quite nice to see, to be honest with you. But obviously we could talk about what's on the screen here. This is a really, really hard market. It will shake you out. It will get you with leverage. The inflows with the ETFs will create a different narrative. The dominance is really high versus what it was. Chasing the volume and chasing where the price follows will probably get you caught out because it does turn around so much faster than it used to back in the day. The momentum isn't as good. This is why sometimes boring, narratives and the boring dollar cost average in certain top assets will probably outperform most things these days, unfortunately. But yeah, for me, the biggest mistake I can find in the market is people go too heavy on the leverage and they get caught out by emotions. That's crypto. That is also typical to an emerging market. Hopefully you got some insight there in terms of what on earth is happening right now. But yeah, drop me a comment if you think the bull market, or the bulls are back, certainly short term for the world of Bitcoin. If you've not yet done so, check out my link below to Patreon if you want more content. I'll be doing a video today on the overall market. It's a technical video. If you've not done so, watch this. This kind of give you a bit of an idea of what was happening last week.